There's truth and there are statistics. For instance, check out a survey last week for the News Corp newspapers, I write for them too, done by a group called Year 13. And it claims something absolutely amazing. It's a world beater, in fact. 1/3 of Australians aged 15 to 24 now identify as LGBTQIA+, meaning either lesbian or they're gay, they're bisexual, transgender, queer, questioning intersex, asexual, anything, but it's, please God, not straight. So, 1/3 of our young aren't actually straight, heterosexual? I mean, seriously? Can you believe that? Can you believe that when even the activist group Rainbow Health, funded by the Victorian government, says international Australian research shows just 3 to 4% of the population identifies gay, lesbian, bisexual, although it does say this figure is higher among people younger than 25. But even then, it rises to 4% for men, around 7% for women. Still a long way short of 1/3. But there might actually be an explanation that 1/3 of the young do indeed now say they're not straight, no, but not because they aren't, but because it's cool not to be heterosexual. You just look at pop star Harry Styles, like a few other stars now. He refuses to say he's straight, even though the only women he's known to date are, or the only people he's known to date are in fact women. Joining me is child psychologist Claire Rowe. Claire Rowe, lovely to see you. What does the survey really tell us, do you think?
Yeah, thanks, Andrew. I am partly shocked, like everyone else, that the number is that high. I don't necessarily believe that 1/3 of our youth are not heterosexual, though I'm not surprised that they've come out and identified as one of those other labels, like you've indicated. And I think, look, there's a couple of things. First of all, we would expect, obviously, the rates of people identifying as non-heterosexual to have increased over the last 10 to 15, 20 years. The destigmatising and acceptance of people, with those labels has been a massive progressive step, and I'm not here to say otherwise, and we would expect a rate of change. What shocked me more in this research was that they said that in the last 2.5 years, since 2020, the rate of people identifying, young people identifying as non-heterosexual has risen by 15%. So that is a massive, just over COVID, right? So that's just a massive rate of change that I just cannot put down to society being more accepting. And I don't accept that we are just, like other child psychologists have said today, we are just capturing more of the population that truly are kind of non-heterosexual. And I don't agree with that. There is a social kudos, and I know that I'll help flack for saying that, but that is not my words.
No, but
that is the
true.
Words of youth in front of me in my clinic. Yeah. And I've literally had children telling me that there is, the ones who are brave enough to tell me that there is social kudos to be the alternative, particularly using pronouns of them. Okay. The they, them pronouns are particularly trendy, Andrew, if you want to know. That's, that's up there on the social kudos. So, I've got children in my rooms telling me this, and I say children, 15, 16-year-olds. And so that is really concerning. I don't know what stage, that being, LGBTIQ plus will be the norm, and then they'll have to all come back to being heterosexual maybe. I'm not sure. But there is an element of that for sure.
Look, honestly, Claire, a psychologist that I know very well, even better than I know you, far better, tells me the same thing, that you actually can get children, and they know these people, that you can get children who were picked on, not cool at school, suddenly identify as something else rather than heterosexual, and they're special. For some it's a power thing, but for some it's just suddenly people making a fuss about them. And I just think this is really a fashion statement rather than a real gender biological kind of indicator.
Yeah, no, it is. It is. And I think that, it hits at a time where late adolescence is a confusing time. By developmental norms, it is supposed to be a confusing time on all sorts of levels. And so what the difference is that, like many topics I talk about, like mental health education with anxiety and depression, what happens is that we're crossing a line between educating youth about, the possibility that maybe you're gay, or that these labels exist, or maybe you've got anxiety, into actually just providing a smorgasbord of labels to them and pushing them. And that's not just on social media, it's by educators and other members of society that are very influential to our children. That is absolutely a push for them to select a label. And I think some may say to me, well, what's the harm in that? And I think what happens is that then we get society and the family and the environment really kind of confirming that label and reinforcing it to the child, that I see children
Yes.
at 19, 20 who can't actually back out and change their minds and are finding it difficult to say, I don't think I am gay.
No, look, the psychologist I know says exactly the same. They get trapped in it and they can't back out. And it's even more tragic if they say they're transgender and, probably need treatment, then it becomes very, very difficult indeed. But look, I'm trying to look on the bright side. I guess what it is in part, they're trying to signal we're not judgmental, which not judgmental is good at one side, on the one hand, but being honest and truthful would be also good. But Claire Rowe, thank you so much indeed for your time. Really appreciate it.